Hi, this is Billie Beene here with another segment of Truth by Billie Beene Special Report. Today's date, December 26, 2022. New. This is my third YouTube channel. I have a subscribe button in the lower right corner of my screen. Thanks for like, subscribe, and share on YouTube and Rumble. Okay, episode 484. NATO and U.S. have put hundreds of nukes on the border with Russia now, trying to get Russia to respond. Russia, we understand, has cloaked missiles. I'll explain what I understand about this. And Planet X. Some of my sources are God in the Bible Patriot subscriber, Peter the Insider, director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, Alien Contact Intel Organization, the division of the U.S. government, NSA. Israeli News Live with Stephen Ben-Nun. Stephen was formerly with the CIA, now has a ministry and regularly gets updates from the Pentagon. Dr. William Mount, formerly in the military and an ambassador to Ukraine. Paul Begley and Mike from around the world. We know Mike works, we believe, for the NSA. Benjamin Fulford, a journalist from Canada who's lived in Japan for decades, worked for Forbes for 20 years, and has contacts from elite families around the world. Dr. Jim Willie, a PhD economist from Costa Rica. Gene Decode, formerly with the nuclear engineer with the Navy for about 25 years. Had a face-to-face encounter with God in 1992 for 30 minutes and knows a lot of stuff. Cliff High is an independent researcher and the founder and designer of the WebBot program. Okay, retired Army Colonel Douglas McGregor. Super Soldier Talk with James Rink and Jimmy Payne has some information about the USS Eldridge. I'll get into that because that relates to the cloaked missiles that new technology that Russia has perfected. Steve Quayle's side, I have Burning Platform, France 24, and other sources. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, we have excuse me, buzzwords I'm noticing in several format genres, and now that I've been a news analyst since 2020. Before that, I was a high school science teacher. I pick up on patterns and I give the credit to God. So the buzzwords now in multiple genres like news and sci-fi and Christian sources. Okay, our CRISPR, Christian Philadelphia experiment, and record cold. Yeah. Okay, so Benjamin Fulford, Israeli News Live, have multiple sources on this, plus my own research, so I can explain this to you. It's Sun Tzu, Art of War. Identify first your enemy. And our enemy, we know, is the deep state. And we understand from the Bible, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So these are like fallen angels who mated with humans. We have that from Genesis, I think, chapter 5 or 6. They made the Nephilim, the hybrids. And then this group mated then with other humans through generations, made the 13 bloodlines. And I understand this 13 relates to Jesus had 12 disciples and he made 13, so 13 bloodlines. All right, so the deep state now, we have different Rockefeller, we're familiar with that, Rothschild, like in Italy, it's like Medici family. So different families in different locations make up these 13 bloodlines. And then they pay money, or they also have hybrids in place with the lower percentage of the Nephilim blood, and they also bribe, blackmail, and control politicians, even pastors in big churches. They get blackmail stuff on them. Okay, now, so Benjamin is talking about, then this comes down, an octagon group is composed of 13, some of these members. They're located in Lake Geneva, Switzerland. This is a major location. Now we know that Ukraine and also Taiwan are major traffic and money locations for the deep state. So Ukraine has been taken out. China, under the white hat leadership of Chairman Xi, has been taking them out, and also Taiwan. So the deep state is very desperate. They have money going away, and they have lost the ability to get certain drugs that they need. Okay, that's going on. And they're planning another pandemic. I'll bring out one of my Weather Plus by Billie. I'll bring that out. There's some evidence they want to try and get Ebola in place. I've got a lot of information on that. Of course, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates passed away in 2013. So you're seeing avatars. All right. Now, so Benjamin Fukford is saying this. Yes, one of the reasons they took out, assassinated President Kennedy was that he was a Christian. He had Christian values, wanted to do good for people, wanted to tell people about the ETs, what had been going on, and wanted to bring about a new Nasara Jassara economic system backed by gold and silver. So that was taken out. Now Benjamin's Fulford is bringing this out, and the Space Force and the U.S. military and other militaries around the world have the ability to redirect asteroids. So Benjamin Fulford is putting forth the suggestion to redirect an asteroid to hit Lake Geneva and take out the Octagon group. Okay, and yeah, he's saying they also assassinated, took out Martin Luther King and other people. All right. Now, we have France 24, who's bringing this out about, yeah, okay. So now this happened in, and by the way, almost all government leaders and are under the control of these 13 bloodline families. That includes, we know, just a few years ago, Zelensky was going around in red tights and red high heel shoes, dancing it up. He's an actor puppet, as is JB, who, we believe the real one has already passed away. That could have been several years ago. And actor puppets, actors are portraying JB, but there are avatars, I submit now, for almost all world leaders you're seeing. If they're making a public visit, I'm almost inclined to believe 100% it's an actor puppet double clone avatar, because the risk, security risk, would just be too great for a public appearance. Okay. So now what Xi has done inside Ukraine is he raided the Orthodox Christian churches. He locked up the priest. He's currently holding them hostage and is including them in any negotiations he makes with Russia. And also sold, I mean, these churches in Ukraine were thousands, hundreds of years old. He sold the artifacts because he needs money, and he's deep state. And he stopped short of requiring the Orthodox Christian Church to worship him instead of God. Instead, what he said was, I'll tell you when you have celebrations. So traditionally, they're under the Russian Orthodox Church. It's the same as Catholic Church being under the Vatican. And typically, they celebrate Christmas on January 7. Well, now they're doing it on December 25. Per Z, who tells this Christian church, I'll tell you what you can when you will celebrate things. I'll tell you what you can say in your pulpits. And meanwhile, I'm selling off all these valuable artifacts in the church because I need the money. And I'm keeping your priest locked up in jail. I may exchange them for some prisoners with Russia. So yeah, so Christians in Ukraine, watch out. Z needs to set what you believe and when you worship and what you say in your pulpits. Okay, so now we have this. We have burning platform. Yeah. So this these 13 bloodlines, they compose all this like Committee of 300, the UN, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, and so on. And oh, they're coming out with all kinds of things like, and who? Yeah, who? We want to get rid of all governments and put in a new world order. We'll tell you when we will control you medically. Okay, one, all governments. The WEF just wants to come in the United States in the spring and steal all the money in our bank accounts. They're currently testing the software in 12 states. They're afraid to tell the American people that they're going to implement a digital money system tied to a social scoring. You know, if you talk out against the government, well then, we'll just take all your money away. Yeah, that's coming. They also want all people to get rid of all pets. And the governor of New York just recently signed an order that after 2024, pet shops have to close because New Yorkers cannot buy pets anymore. It's only a short time until they ban veterinarians then and all pets, which is what the New World Order wants. Okay, now we have this. This is Israeli News Live. Stephen Ben-Nun, formerly with the CIA, now has a ministry but gets updates from the Pentagon. Okay, now he's talking about the nukes, NATO, and yeah, okay, so Deagle is actually run by the CIA. I've always wondered about that, but I've used them for years. They had popular. You could go to Deagle, and Deagle would tell you things like, in this year, you'll have a certain population in this area. So if you were planning a business or you were looking for social changes, you could get a handle on how many people are going to be living in this area and so on. So now, their prediction, and I've known this, by 2025, is that the population, this is globally, will go down 65%. Now, Mike from around the world has information from the U.S. government about a massive death event 2023 to 2025. So, I mean, there's cosmic space events and there are natural cycles that are taking place, and I'm familiar with that. But I think it's good to get everything on the table, then you know what to pray against, because God is in charge. Okay. Now, we have Benjamin Fulford talking about CRISPR. And I noticed other locations were mentioning this. And this is to edit human genes. And Benjamin is putting this out. It's not for health reasons. It's for control reasons. To put in like nanobots. They're going to hook up with the AI that we also have going around. Yeah. And he's saying humans should live to the age of 1,000. Instead, we live to 80 years. So there's some evidence for that. Now, let's get into this Philadelphia experiment. Okay, this happened in World War II, 1943, the Navy. And out of this is coming the technology that Russia and the U.S. and China and Iran, I believe, and I'm sure Israel also would have it, whereby they can use certain methods to cloak a missile. Okay, so my sources for this are Super Soldier Talk, Jimmy Payne came out recently. His this show on Rumble is about the USS Eldridge, the Philadelphia experiment. Israeli News Lab Stephen Ben-Nun is talking about it in his show, December 24. Okay, and it's Stephen who is relating the Philadelphia experiment to this cloaking business with the Russian missiles. Okay, so know what this was about was time travel. And the USS Navy in 1943 did this experiment with the USS Eldridge. That was a ship. And I think it was somewhere like maybe Boston. And they moved it maybe to New York. Okay, somehow they had technology. And they wanted to make the ship disappear and then reappear somewhere else. Okay, they were successful in getting the ship to disappear and reappear. But the problem was when it reappeared, you had sailors. Some, like you would have a part of the ship here, if they were standing close to this metal wall, then half of their body could be stuck in the wall. And so what they had to do with these sailors is they had to euthanize them because they were going to pass anyway. But all 100% were insane. And I looked at it. Apparently the autonomic system continued. That's the deep interior part of your brain that controls like heartbeat and breathing. So that continued because they continued to live. But they had no conscious thought. And those people they put into asylums. And to my knowledge, I've never seen a report on what happened to the health of those people after that. So that happened. There's been 3 movies made of this. Now, Stephen is saying that this was an experiment in high frequency magnetism. And so, yeah. So that happened. So now, the militaries, this is the US, China, Russia, Iran, and Israel have this technology, and they can apply this, and they can make a missile go into a different dimension and then reappear just as it's hitting its target. Russia has apparently put a new type missile out, and it is using this technology, and this is another reason Russia is saying the Patriot missiles are obsolete. Okay. Now, Stephen Ben-Nun is bringing this out, as has Ben Davidson, also with suspicious observers. And also this correlates to my knowledge and background. So we have a cycle. It's a natural cycle put in place by God, and it's operating like on a 12,000 years, 6,000 years, because we know this was Adam and Eve. We had Noah right here. In this area, we had Atlantis, Lemuria. Okay, in both cases, this and this, there were extinction level events that God facilitated or brought about or allowed to happen because God despises genetic manipulation, and he always starts over. He takes it out. This is a natural cycle, and it has to do with what we call, here's the sun, Planet X. And now we're getting into this space event coming on. Maybe if the binary sun, actually, Stephen Ben-Nun interviewed an astronomer from Chile who has since passed. He passed just a couple of years ago in his 90s, but he had all these decades of data regarding Planet X, and he said it would speed up and slow down. And so what I saw in my mind was a spaceship. So Stephen is verifying that, yes, the U.S. government, it's a spaceship. But it's going to be causing high frequency magnetism on the Earth. So Stephen is saying, you know, maybe you can be protected by a metal building or a metal helmet, or a location on Earth where there's a high iron content in the soil. So we know that this is coming, and this is going on. Now, so Stephen is bringing out more about this Ukraine and Planet X correlation. And in 2023, Mike from around the world said in 2023 we would have 17 space events. The first one will occur January 5, 2023. And we will have radiation going up. And we've had a fluctuation of the Schumann vibration in the Earth. We know that. So we have physical examples of what's going on. And Stephen is saying that this space event coming in is also affecting the cold weather. And we just saw that. And he's saying that Planet X is moving 16 times faster than an asteroid, and the Pentagon confirms it is a spaceship, which correlates with what I saw too in my mind some years ago. Okay. Now, Stephen is saying behind the sun there's an object, and we have multiple sources for that. And that's going to be coming out and affecting us. Now we're getting into, this is a new topic. So we have Planet X coming in. We have space event affecting the Earth. It's affecting our weather. And it's also affecting the economic situation with the deep state. And so now they're going to put nukes on the table. Now we have this from Peter the Insider. He's the director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, Alien Contact Intel Organization. That's a division of the NSA. We also have Dr. Jim Willie, a PhD economist from Costa Rica, talking about what's going on in Canada U.S. border. Gene Decode also had information about this, that the U.S. military underground is fighting Chinese cyborgs. And these are super soldiers that have been genetically manipulated and have all kinds of implants in them. And the U.S. military is learning how to turn them off. So that's good. That's going on. But we, the people, need to know what's going on. All right. Now, we have this. We have Benjamin Fulford. We have retired Colonel Douglas McGregor. Russia has an army. Benjamin is saying 700,000. And yes, and Benjamin is putting this forth. They're going to make their move after the solar New Year, which would be, ours January 1. All right. As opposed to, I think Chinese and the Asians have a later time. All right. Now we have this from Hal Turner. He's on the Steve Quayle site, formerly with the FBI for about 15 years. He knows stuff. All right. Now we have this. Medvedev, he's the former president of Russia and currently the deputy chairman of the Russian Security Council, is saying that World War III, we're on the brink of it. It's going to be a nuclear catastrophe, and it is the shadow NATO, the shadow U.S. government military, the shadow government military of the UK, who is pushing for it and will not negotiate peace. All right, so now let's get to nukes. This is U.S. nukes. And where are they? So we had some new type of nukes. These are B6112 nukes. And there was an upgrade. And I think they were to come out in January of 2023, but the U.S. military pushed up the date to December, and they went to certain locations in Europe. Brussels, Germany, Klein, Brogel in Belgium, Avignano in Italy, Torre in Italy, Vocal in the Netherlands, Incirlik in Turkey. Now we know in Greece, the U.S. has those two bases with drones that can easily, and have been refitted, can easily reach into Russia. Now what we have also, so let me do a map. All right. So we have Russia, we've got Belarus, Poland, Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Lithuania, Kaliningrad. We've got Finland, Sweden, Norway. We've got Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy, Greece, Turkey. Okay. So now we have nukes here, U.S. nukes in Germany, in Netherlands, and Belgium, 2 in Italy, and 1 location in Turkey. We have the USS has put out 2 Ohio subs, and these submarines are about 560 feet long. They travel at 20 knots, or about 23 miles per hour. But they have been modified. They can carry Trident nukes, torpedoes, tomahawks, but they have been upgraded to carry the B-6112 new type of nukes for the U.S. that can carry. So these, let me give you the information on the nukes. Okay. It's the B-6112, new type upgraded nukes, and the Ohio class submarines have been upgraded to carry them and to launch them. So we have this. So they can carry 12 times 24 of the nukes. And these type of nukes can have a yield of 50 kilotons, which is a yield of 1,200. And the U.S. has 200 total deployed. But now, according to Dr. William Mount, out of these 200, they have 180 on the border with Russia. And they have 2 Ohio-class nukes, nuclear submarines on the border with Russia. Okay. So now this is where I think they are. I'll draw this for you. So we have, here's Russia. We have Finland has a waterway. I think one is right here. And oh yeah, this is Turkey. So we have Russia all the way out here. We've got Mongolia, China, Japan. Now recently there was another attack on the Ingalls, I think over the weekend, Air Force Base. I submit the U.S. military has 23 bases on Japan, and I submitted that earlier attack on the Ingalls Air Force Base came not from Ukraine, but from this area off of Russia. And I think this is where the second Ohio-class submarine is. So we have here and here. We have, I'm assuming, 90 for each submarine. Or they may have some of these subs in other areas along the Russian border. But Dr. William Mount is reporting that 180 out of the 200 B-6112 nukes that can have a kiloton warhead up to 50 kilotons and is now precision guided and is a ground busting type nuclear bomb also. It's been upgraded. So that's going on, and that's where we stand with this nuclear situation. We have Russia using cloaked missiles with the USS Eldridge time travel capability. We have the U.S. Putting 2 nuclear subs and nukes all along the border of Russia. It's because the shadow NATO, the shadow U.S. government, the military, and other shadow groups on Earth want to get World War III started. If they have to launch nukes to get it done, well, they will do that. And do we think that Russia is going to stand still for this? Now, Russia has said if they were threatened, they would use a preemptive strike. So, yeah, that's going on. Let's have a short prayer. This is a modified weather prayer, actually, from General Patton in World War II, who asked his chaplain to write a prayer to God asking for good weather for battle. And we say, Father, grant us fair weather, arm your soldiers with your power, guide us from victory to victory to crush our enemies. And we thank you, Father, Son, Jesus, Uminika, Yeshua, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. And I say to my family and friends, remain steady out there, continue to pray. God is in charge, and He is on the move. I love you, and I'll see you soon.